All right, hope you guys can hear me. If someone's in the chat, could you drop a message? Let me know if you guys can hear me or not. So I had to move everything, disconnect everything. So I'm still getting set up here. So I'm actually in my new place. So this is why I got a whole new background and everything else. I got to do something. I don't like this huge white wall behind me. Not entirely. It just doesn't look right. It's too damn bright. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I got nothing for the stream, to be honest. I'm kind of just gonna wing it here today. I just had to get a stream done because, man, I was like itching the whole time. I was freaking moving and trying to get stuff done. Let me see if I can. There we go. All right. So anyways, this stream will be a little different. It's just us kind of shooting the shit and just going over how the week went, because this week was kind of wild. So let's get into it. All right, so this is the portfolio as it sits today, looking really, really frothy. I hope this updates, actually. I think this needs to update. Yeah, there we go. So it's looking a little more frothy. Let's see how much I'm down by. I shouldn't be down by much. I know the M1 Finance portfolio recovered a lot. And I've been watching that a lot. So let's see how much. So we got, let's see, 575, subtract 542. So I'm only down $33,000, which is nice, right? Only down 33,000. Earlier this week, I think I was down like 50 something. So seeing this nice jump and this nice recovery has been a welcome sign. And it's definitely making me feel more optimistic about this environment. So for May income, $2,000. Of course, take this with a grain of salt. This is gonna change. I gotta get some freaking sound dampeners in here because it's like echoing like crazy in this room. This new apartment is huge. It's really, really massive. Hey Dan, what's up, man? Welcome back. Net annual income $34,000. So like I said, I don't have really a format for today. It's kind of a sit and chill type of deal today. I just had to get a stream done. For those who don't know, I just want to show you guys real quick kind of this new apartment that I moved into, just to show you how big this place is. And I'll show you where my office is kind of set up. So this is the new apartment I moved into. So I'm no longer living the bachelor condo lifestyle that most people in Thailand live. So I settled for a brand new, basically, well, not a brand new house, but I basically settled for a house. Way more space. So this is the second floor. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Let me go back. Yeah, so there's like this really big open space here, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'm thinking of like setting up a bar there, maybe getting like a couch or two. But man, it's hot in this area, like really hot. There's no AC, there's no airflow. The damn house is like super big. You guys can see from the earlier shot, like the ceilings are just like really, really massive. Yeah, $530 a month for this place. Let me show you how big this place is. And then I'll show you how big this place is, and then I'll go back to kind of explaining some things. Yeah, 3 floors. So there's one. There's those 2 bedrooms. This is the master bedroom right here. And then you go up another floor, and then this floor is my office. So like it's wide open. Like there's so much space in here. Like you guys can see it right behind me. But this place is crazy. And then this is like the top floor. I should have turned that into my office, honestly. I don't know why I went with the bigger one. But yeah, you get like a whole view and everything. So I mean, it's a nice spot. Like it's a really nice spot. And I'm just moving in, guys. Like I've been here 2 days. I'm just waking up today. Like last night or yesterday we went shopping for a bunch of crap. We had to install a bunch of stuff, laundry, washer machine, bring in the fridge, all that other crap. And man, I was beat. So like today, I really had no time to get finance new stuff done as much as I wanted to. I really wanted to get finance new stuff done, but I couldn't. But yeah, it's $530, unfurnished, of course. And you get 3 floors, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, spacious as hell. And the floors are like this, like hard tile. I don't know what to call it. Like they had this in Qatar as well. This is what I love about like houses outside the United States. You get that really hard like rock floor. I don't know what it's called. Tile maybe. It's not tile. It's something else. But for the sake of this video, we'll call it tile. But it's tile. Easy to clean, easy to mop, and like you could throw a bunch of shit on it on the floor. I gotta stop my cussing. But you could throw a bunch of stuff on the floor and like nothing was gonna happen to it, right? Like it doesn't scratch. Marble, I think. Maybe it's not marble. Maybe it's some type of tile or something. But I don't know. Anyways, the floor is just I like hard floors. There's no creaking. There's no, whenever you walk on like a wooden floor, you start hearing all this creaking. A lot of houses in like Massachusetts have that problem. So it's just really nice to have it. No rugs are in here, right? So you just like running around the place barefoot. It's nice. It's nice. I'm not gonna lie. I already tripped and almost busted my head coming out the kitchen. So Sauce Maker, welcome back, brother. He says, living large and in charge. Man, I'm living. All right, I'm living. I'm just doing what I can do. All right, I just do what I can do. It is hot in this room though. Like to really cool it down, I gotta like get the windows completely like blanked out to really bring the kind of the temperature down, because all the sunlight and everything comes like straight in here. It's a Wealthy Life that asks, when do I move in? Bro, I got a whole room you can use. All right, I'm gonna charge you. I'll give you a deal. All right, I'll charge you like $200 a month. All right, come over. We'll set you up. We'll even share an office. How about that? We'll even share the office and move your family to Thailand. Dude, hey man, this channel is slowly becoming a Thailand/finance channel. Maybe that's what I should start talking about more of. I know Elijah. I know your name's not really Elijah, but anyways, A Path to Retirement was saying that I should do more Thailand videos. Dan, I know you've been asking for more like walk and talk videos. So I think what I'm going to do from now on is slowly start to integrate that stuff, but I might start a second channel. I just haven't decided yet. 20% of the rent says Shannon, not bad. Hell yeah. I'd take that. I would take that deal. All right. So anyways, let's just look at a recap. I published a video of how much dividend income I made for the month of April, which was about $6,000. Most of it came from PLTW, NVW, and I hate Robinhood, XPay, and XDT. This was, you guys can see for yourself. I hate the fact that I sold out of PLTW at the wrong time, only for a 20% or 24% jump to happen. So I gave up a lot of gains. This easily would have been close to $10,000. But I look back on that again. It's one of those lessons you learn. It's like it's burned into your memory. Like you're never gonna forget something like this. So I'm gonna hold this and just hold it into earnings, and then I don't know what I might do. I might rip out after that. I don't know yet. I'm still really debating. I still think Palantir has a lot of room to grow, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe these 1-2x lever plays. Maybe you just buy them up if the news is positive, as earnings is coming up, because for Palantir and NVIDIA, there's still a lot of stuff that is left to be seen. Like it's not baked in, if you know what I mean. Like I know the market is forward looking, and there's people always saying like, oh, it's already priced in. Well, this whole China tariff thing, even though it's a very small amount, it's making a lot of waves. And then I saw that Jensen Huang had like a speech recently, and he was basically saying that China DeepSeek should not be underestimated. And then by keeping NVIDIA out of China, that's going to force their competitors to move faster, right? They're going to get more subsidies. They're going to be able to innovate quicker. They're going to get all this other stuff. And then they will be able to catch up to someone like NVIDIA. Is it true? I have no idea. But if you have someone like Jensen Huang, who's, the CEO of NVIDIA, saying something like this, I mean, ears should be propped up in listening. So, I mean, I'm totally biased. I'm not going to lie. I think a lot of stuff that comes out of China is, a lie or fabricated. But, if someone like Jensen Huang, who's in the markets over there, he's actually selling chips, he met with a lot of business leaders recently over there. It was probably the government, to be honest. So he's more tied in. And if he's saying that by keeping NVIDIA out of the Chinese markets, this is only going to force the Chinese to actually innovate faster, that could be a headwind for someone like NVIDIA or for other chip manufacturers like AMD. It's a Wealthy Life says, sell PLTW, sell again. It's at 300 billion. I'm not selling. All right. I need to have that Wolf of Wall Street scene or whatever ready to go every time. I'm not leaving. Path to Retirement says, I'll pay you with msty. No, I don't want msty anymore. The new msty is mst. All right. The new msty is mst. All right. Msty is old news. All right. That's man, kick that one to the curve. The new one is a 1.5 to 2x leveraged ETF with weekly income for MSTR. That's the new play. All right. That's the new one. Wait till that starts making waves. Everyone's going to be buying up that crap. I don't know, man. I honestly kind of want to buy just a few shares of it and just see it. But Defiance has a horrible reputation. A lot of their stuff is junk. I think I was talking with Pay Me in Dividends, and he mentioned that I think it was SPY or SPY. No, SPY's with NEOS. I think it's SPY. SPY is probably the only one out of the bunch of ETFs that Defiance has that's worthwhile. Meanwhile, a lot of their other ETFs are kind of garbage, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see with the MST. Maybe it'll be their golden child. All right. So anyways, just talking more about this portfolio. Yeah. So it made 6,000 for the month, which is, it's nothing to kind of sniff at. I mean, it is a healthy amount. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you still have to pay the margin off. So, just got to keep that in mind. But I'm still going to hold these positions as such. Sometimes I really think XPay, I should just sell out of XPay once it recovers and move it into XDTE, because XPay, it's a monthly payer. It's a target 20 date fund, or not target date 20, but a target 20 fund, meaning that they're always going to try and give you 20% from the investment. But I really like XDTE, even though they screwed up that one time not too long ago when everything pumped, and they were the ones that only came back with like a 2 or 3% return for that day. Meanwhile, everyone else pumped 9%. I think it was let's see, it was probably this day right here. I think it was like this day where everyone else pumped up, but XDT, and we're all making fun of them, saying that, oh, they didn't get the memo from the White House to they didn't get the advance notice. So that was really crappy. But again, it is what it is. Shannon says, I'm never going to forget. I thought PLTR was a meme stock because everyone on YouTube was pumping it when it was 30-ish. My friend bought Palantir in 2000, I think when it like first IPO'd, right? He put like 10 grand into it. And I was like, I was like, dude, I'm not doing any more meme stocks. This was right after GameStop. I was like, I'm done with meme stocks. I'm done with, altcoins, shit coins, all those other things. I'm done with all of that stuff. And then I wish I looked into Palantir, because he told me, he's like, bro, this is a defense company. This is a defense stock. It's artificial intelligence. I was like, whatever, bro. Like, and he rode that thing all the way up, like all the way up. I haven't talked to him in a little bit. I don't know if he still owns it, but man, I feel really salty about that. Because, what's funny was someone gave me advance notice about GameStop right before the pump. And they're like, bro, you need to get in on GameStop. Like everybody in the community. So when I was employed, there's a base. I don't want to mention the base, but everyone on this camp was talking about GameStop. Everybody. So everyone was dumping in money like crazy. And this is right when GameStop was starting to like go up from like $20 to like 25 or something. So everyone was pumping it up. I'm like, no, I'm a long-term investor. I invest in real estate. I do index funds. I'm not touching that meme stuff. Or it wasn't even a meme stock at that point. It was just a stock. There was no meme stocks, right? And then the pump came and I felt so salty about it. I was like, man, I got in at all-time highs. I thought I could ride this thing up. I lost so much money. So again, those cuts run deep, and those are the things you just don't forget. It's a Wealthy Life says, I vlogged myself making a YouTube video today. Making a video of a video was a trip. Yeah, that's like that's some 4D chess right there. A Path to Retirement says, surprisingly, Jay managed to find. I know he did, and I know they split, and then that's when he went full time into like yieldmax, and then Alex, yeah, Alex, hey, welcome back, man. Alex is the one that pointed this out. Let's see if I can pull it up right now. It was title ETFs or something. Maybe it's this one. Dude, I didn't realize how crazy embedded title is, or how broad their actual like reach is. Because if you look at their actual ETFs, if this thing will load, I mean, look at this crap. There's a lot of names in here you would not have even realized they were in. So like the ones that surprised the hell out of me was where is it? So they're all in yieldmax, they're in Defiance, but the ones that were like really surprising to me was where is it? So like, look, you have staked 100% MSTR and staked 100% coin, Bitcoin, gold, smci, nvda. These are like paired made in heaven, right? But there was where the hell is it? It was REIT. Yeah, there it is. I see it right there. It was REIT from Wide Moat. So iREIT is so if you look on Seeking Alpha, if you look up Brad Thomas, or if you look up Hoya, they run two ETFs or three ETFs now. I did not know that Tidal was involved in their iREIT, or in their REIT ETF, which is ridiculous. I had no idea. That was crazy to me. And then just looking through some of these other names, I was like, holy crap, like these guys are really embedded in a lot of ETFs out there. So probably talking shit about Tidal, especially on YouTube, is probably not the smartest thing, because these dudes are probably plugged in with everybody, right? These dudes are probably plugged in with a lot of people. So it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to you, Alex, for bringing this up. I didn't know this. I don't know if you guys ever seen this, but this was just crazy to see. So yeah, they're in Defiance. Oh, Fundstrat, they're in the Granny Fund. So Fundstrat is the other one that really was kind of wild to me, because Fundstrat is run by Tom Lee, right? We've covered Tom Lee on the stream before. He's very bullish on just everything, right? He never presents a bear case, but he runs the Granny Fund, has a lot of the Mag 7 stuff in there, and I did not know that Tidal was involved with Fundstrat. So Fundstrat is, again, one of those managers, those fund managers that you kind of just want to listen to, especially like on YouTube. Tom Lee, he's always featured on CNBC. Again, he's a perma bull. You can't convince him otherwise. The fire ETFs, these are absolute garbage. These are absolute trash. Maybe I should do a video on these ones, but yeah, when these came out, I looked at them. They're supposed to be for like the FIRE community, the financial independence, retire early community. But when you really dig deep into these are just an ETF of other ETFs, right? And then they charge you an expense ratio. So not only are you getting charged an expense ratio from the ETFs in the ETF, but you're also getting an expense ratio from the ETF provider. So this is just absolute. Yeah, these two are just absolute butt, in my opinion. Maybe one day we'll take a look at this, but yeah, they have the income target, which is funny enough, 4%, right? Because FIRE, they always talk about, oh, you need 4%, right? You get your account up to $1 million, then you retire and you take out 4% a year, you'll never go broke, right? Based on whatever that study was. And then you have the FIRE Funds Wealth Builder. I forget what this one is. I think this one's like more of an appreciation play. You're not going to get the dividends. But yeah, again, when you really look deep into these things are, in my opinion, of course, and I might get shot for this, or it might get my channel closed down for this. These are just but whatever. They might fit somebody. I mean, I think last time I looked, they had a couple $1 million worth of AUM. So someone's obviously finding value in these. So anyways, enough about that. Yeah. So anyways, just again, going back to the portfolio, gonna hold these again. I've been thinking about getting out of XPay, moving all that to XDTE. I like the weekly stuff. Cepi, you know, this is their near peers are what was it, SMH or SOXQ, and those two semiconductor ETFs have been like just ripping recently, and you know, it's because of all this positive news coming out about you know, China opening up. First, they lowered the tariffs on imports for semiconductors, and now there's positive conversations hopefully about to take place between the United States and China. So I think semiconductors and the idea behind them, investing in them, is intact. You know, we just have to wait out this whole like bumpiness, this choppiness that they're going through. But Chippy's actually been doing really well, and they increased their dividend recently. So the first two dividends that they paid out were like 20 cents or something. And I was like, man, if they're going to be doing this crap that GPTY does, like I'm going to get out of it. And I'm going to look for something else out there. Right. So anyways, luckily this last one, they came out with 60 cents a share, which was huge, right? That's a huge jump. So, but that's obviously because, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe they got their trading down right, but you know, so far it's been increasing in value. It hasn't been eroding in value. So we'll see what's left to come. Of course, I'm monitoring this one a lot closer because, you know, it is from the dreaded, you know, the dreaded max. All right. It is from the dreaded max funds. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying I'm not a fan of most of their funds, but maybe this one might be an outlier. All right. I'm thinking this one is going to be the outlier for them. All right. So anyways, let's see what else we can cover in here. Oh, look at that. Got those dividends. All right. So anyways, this recently came out. I made a quick post about this, and you guys saw it. Hey, Josh the vegan. What's up, man? Welcome to the channel. I don't think I saw you on this channel, or maybe I did. The vegan piece reminds me of something. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I saw you on the channel before. But anyways, welcome. But anyways, MST, this just came out. And this is from Defiance. This is this is crazy. They're really, because I really think these are popular. These are starting to gain a lot of traction, right? You can implement these in many different ways. You can use them as strict swing trades, right? You can hold them for a little period of time, for maybe longer periods of time. I don't know, maybe 3-6 months if you want to swing trade that, or just hold them for a buy and hold long term. Like if you like really believe in Palantir or NVIDIA or Tesla or Coinbase or Apple, like you can really hold these for long term, or you can play them as a swing trade. You know, pump them up, get out, or use a dividend capture strategy. Like whatever you want to do, right? There's 100 ways to skin a cat, but I think these are starting to become, like, the idea behind them, a leveraged weekly pay ETF is starting to gain a lot more traction. I think these are starting to become a little more popular because for Defiance to come out with one for MST, which is, you know, MSTR strategy, Bitcoin, Michael Saylor, all that stuff. I think this is going to become a little more popular. This idea of weekly pay plus leverage. So because the whole problem right now, I think, in the space of the cover call ETF space is this whole thing of NAV erosion, right? We all know this. It's the new flat earth theory. Whether you believe it or don't, I don't care. I'm in the camp that I do believe in NAV erosion. But, you know, for these leverage funds, and they say it right here too, whenever they get paid out, there's something called NAV erosion in here. They mentioned it. Let's see. There's something in here. I saw it. Or maybe I'm making things up. Maybe I dreamed it. Yeah, so. Oh, right here. Distributions, which include the return of capital, decreases the fund's NAV and trading price, which over time can result in losses on an investment. So what I'm thinking is, because these are leveraged and they're supposed to be used as bullish instruments, you know, they're supposed to be used when you believe the stock goes up, right? Up to the right. So if there was a payout, a large payout, you know, the 1.5, the 2x leverage that's stacked on top of this should be able to recover from that dividend payout much quicker. So I really think that is what the impetus is behind a lot of these leverage funds that are going to be coming out. So I'm just keeping an eye on Defiance, see what else they come out with. I'm not if I buy into this, it's going to be strictly for a meme. Like I'm going to probably put like $100 into this thing and just, see, just to hold it, just so I could piss off some of you guys in the community. But I really think the whole idea of weekly pay leverage ETFs, they're going to become way more popular. Trust me. Like if Defiance is coming out with it, you can bet yieldmax is probably next. Definitely yieldmax is coming next. Let's see. All right. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to cover this real quick because I thought it was funny. So you guys know I'm mostly in roundhill, and it's not because I'm a huge fan of roundhill, right? They're just an ETF manager to me. But I will say they've been really good, and they have some of the best products that I have found on the market. XDte is an honorable mention. Cover them all the time on this channel. XDte is probably the best zero DTE cover call ETF on the market, in my opinion. Of course, yieldmax has their own. There's a couple other fund managers that have their own, but XDte to me has been the best performer. Even though they screwed up once, I'll overlook that, right? But the weekly pay ones have been really interesting. And you guys, I just kind of covered the whole cepi thing. So this is the yieldmax cepi, the semiconductor portfolio option income ETF. So I'm looking at this, and again, I still don't have butterflies in my stomach, right? I'm still watching this thing with a magnifying glass because it's a yieldmax ETF, and because there's just such extreme views on yieldmax funds, whether they're good, bad, NAV erosion, no NAV erosion, et cetera, et cetera. I think cepi is probably going to be an outlier for them. But if they're not, honestly, the other play I'm looking at is another roundhill ETF that hasn't come out yet. And I'll explain my reasoning why. Let's see. Alex says, Josh says, I like msty. Josh, in this channel, in this community, we treat it as kind of a meme stock, but if it works for you, it works for you, bro. All right, that's all I gotta say on it. If it's working for you, it's working for you. I don't know if you're using leverage or not for it. Hopefully not. But if it's working for you, you bought at all-time lows and your ROI and all that other good stuff, then congratulations, man. But anyways, Alex says you'll find that most of the semiconductor ETFs, whether it's cepi, SMH, SOX, or et cetera, the holdings are very similar. Very, very true. And I got into cepi primarily because I wanted to keep this portfolio, this Robinhood portfolio. And you guys know I have the M1 Finance portfolio. But this one, I wanted to keep it strictly income, and finding a semiconductor ETF that pays out some type of income, whether it was monthly or weekly, just is hard to find. So, and I was asking if anyone knew of any other one, but cepi was the only one that I could find. So I went with cepi. Again, I'm very bullish on the semiconductor space. However, if this doesn't work out for one reason or another, I'm really looking at something that from Roundhill, unless someone else comes out with something else, and it is another weekly pay ETF. So if you look at, just like Alex was saying, if you look at SMH, if you look at SOXQ, or if you look at cepi, you'll see that the same holdings pretty much stand out. It's usually these holdings, right? Broadcom being the largest after NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is really the 1,000 pound gorilla in the room, but Broadcom's closely under it. So Broadcom is interesting, and I'm trying to do some more research into Broadcom, but their investor presentations aren't that good. And then to dig up information about them, I usually have to dumpster dive into Seeking Alpha and read like hundreds and hundreds of articles to actually understand Broadcom, because they have multiple businesses. I was looking at their investor presentation. They own VMware. VMware is a virtualization software. It's used to basically you can turn like one server, you can have one server on, and then they'll have like 100 virtual servers, right? It's a really powerful software. I loved when I used it, like when I learned how to use it. VMware is really, really cool. They do 100 other things, but VMware was bought by Broadcom. Then they upped the licensing requirements to make more money. They also own a couple other names in here. One of them was, it's the competitor to Cisco, Brocade. So they bought Brocade some ways back, which is a switch, like a networking company. So they bought them, and Broadcom is garbage. I mean, I'm just going to say it. Broadcom is trash. Cisco is way better by comparison. I know this because I've worked with network administrators who hate Brocade. Anyways, They own a couple other companies in here as well. So I do like Broadcom's kind of diversified business approach. They're not just doing semiconductors. They own a bunch of other small businesses. So that is really interesting. So I want to do a little more deeper dive, but I thought the cat was in here. So I want to do a little more deeper dive and understand more about Broadcom. But there is a ETF coming out, hopefully in the future, from Roundhill for Broadcom. All right, and it's a weekly pay. It's somewhere in here. I saw it. Oh, they have one for ASML too. Yeah. So AVGO, right? That is the one. I know. I hope you guys can see that. So that is that one. So shout out to Alex again for sharing this with me, because he's the one who shared this with me. And I was just looking through this. I was completely surprised by how many ETFs are coming out with, hopefully in the future. But AVGO is probably going to be the one that I would go into. And the reason is because they are the 1,000-pound gorilla after NVIDIA, right? In Broadcom compared to Qualcomm, they're it's not that, Broadcom is better, than Qualcomm. It's just that they're two separate types of semiconductors. They have two different focuses. You have TSMC in here, Lam Research, but again, I would probably go with Broadcom in my opinion. I also kind of toyed with the idea of something for TSMC, because they also have something coming out with TSMC. I think I saw it in here somewhere. Yeah, TSM right here. So they're also coming out with TSM. But again, it's a single stock exposed ETF, and I want to try to limit myself as much to single stock exposed ETFs, especially cover call ETFs or any type of leverage ETFs, as much as possible. This is why I would rather just go with, the broad market, products like xdte or xpay, right? Because it's just cover calls against the S&P 500. So, it's hard for an index fund to drop 5 or 10%. It's very easy for a single stock to drop 5 or 10%, right? All it needs is one bad earnings or one bad press release or one wrong salute, and then the stock dives. Dan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, Tesla holder, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see. Alex says, if you have enough capital, better to run calls on SMH, but it's a commitment. Exactly. I mean, I'm lazy as hell. I just don't want to do cover calls myself. I'm lazy. All right. I like just laying on the couch all day. Maybe in the future, but just not right now. VMware is great. Maybe if you're familiar with VirtualBox. Yep. Very familiar. Yep. I've used VirtualBox. VMware is obviously way more powerful. VirtualBox is used for like your like if your lab environment, if you just want to learn something or run a VM, maybe like a Linux distro or maybe like a older Windows. I've seen someone load up like Windows 98 for some reason. I don't know why, but anyways. Yeah, like VMware is really powerful. VirtualBox is really cool too. I like VirtualBox. Hey Josh, good night, man. I hope I caught you in time, but good night. I'll see you in another stream, bro. It's a Wealthy Life says, yeah, wrong salute. So exactly, like something like that can just drop, a single stock like dramatically for no reason, right? It could just be misconstrued, it could be an improper tweet, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like one negative press release can send a stock down, but it's very hard for an index fund to go down. So again, if I was to sell out a chippy and move it into something like a TSM, like a weekly paid TSM or ASML or AVGO or whatever, I have to do a lot more research on these companies. Again, I'm very bullish on the semiconductor space. I think there's a lot of room to grow. I'm learning more and more of these alliances that the United States has with these other countries. For example, there's something called the Fab Four. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this. This was actually new to me, but there's something called the Fab Four, and it's basically the fabrication four. And it makes up 4 countries that produce semiconductors or memory chips or whatever for global use. It's the United States, it's the Netherlands, it's Taiwan, and it's actually South Korea. South Korea has a huge manufacturing base for memory chips, like RAM for your computers, and they have a huge hand in some of the manufacturing for some of the biggest names out there, like NVIDIA, right? So, understanding that kind of stuff helps me at least analyze some of these stocks a little better. Again, this is all excluding China. I'm not saying China is bad or good. I just don't want to invest in them because they are the biggest competitor, the biggest rival to the United States. And the United States is going to do everything it can to stifle their growth, right? This is what the whole tariff thing is. This is what the whole, trade agreements are. This is basically to reorient the world order. I know this gets kind of big in the politics and stuff like that, but this is really to reorient the world, the global trade, because I didn't know that China was actually treated as a developing country by the World Bank. So they were getting subsidized like crazy. They're a developing nation according to the World Bank. So that is absolutely wild to me. But they're more of a producer nation. They don't consume as much as we do because they don't allow external products into their markets, right? If the United States wanted to sell stuff in China, they have to jump through hoops. They have to get licenses. They have to get regulations. They have to pay taxes and fines and surpluses. They have to do all this stuff just to sell an American piece of good in China. So for Chinese goods entering America, not so much. They can sell it here, no problem, but it is what it is. So anyways, this is why understanding the bigger picture of things can help you kind of like navigate investing, especially when it comes to the semiconductor space, especially when it comes to single stock exposed ETFs. So we're pretty much at minute 36, guys. Let's just go over the market, and then I guess we'll wrap it up at some point. S&P 500, really for the week, we've just been on an absolute tear. All right, we've been ripping like crazy. I love it. I think we all love it. We all love seeing green, right? Green days every single day. So this is why I put in the poll, what are your plans for May in the stock market? 89% of you said continue buying small amounts. 11% of you said moving to cash, heavy pullback soon. And no one said they're selling everything. So I'm going to be with the 89% and continue buying small amounts here and there. Again, getting the dividend income, I'm not reinvesting it back into the security. Instead, what I'll do is I'll hold it. I'll wait for a small little pullback. I'll put it here, put it there, whatever. Again, right now I'm building up my cepi position in the yieldmax ETFs. I'm building up that position because I want that to get to at least $15,000, if not $20,000. That'd be kind of nice. Might take a little bit of time, but I think we'll get there. And then again, PLTW, NVW, one of these might get axed at some point. I just don't know when. I mean, NVW is close to recovering, and I still think NVW, NVIDIA, has a lot of room to run, so we'll see. NASDAQ 100, we are up for the week as well, almost 3.5%, which is great. Certified Freak says stacking chips, stacking chippies. Hell yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm doing. Gold has actually had a huge pullback as of recent. Again, this is huge. Gold has actually been declining. People have been selling out of gold, and again, I think it's to move it into equities, right? Move it into stocks, move it into other asset classes, maybe even Bitcoin, because gold again is that inflation hedge, it's that currency hedge, it's that political risk hedge, that recession hedge. So by people selling out of this is kind of just hinting that maybe we are past a lot of the fear, and we might be moving into better days. Of course, they're still going to be choppy. Don't get me wrong. They're still going to be very choppy. We'll still have a pullback here or there, red days here or there. Having I think 7 consecutive green days or something like that, or maybe it's more. Just having a ton of green days is kind of wild. Bitcoin, 96,000, still doing very well here. Again, nothing too crazy here. I don't follow Bitcoin or crypto space too much, but Bitcoin is doing well. Shannon says, I'm just chilling, waiting on another dip, not buying, not selling. That's always a good strategy. O says, why would you do the yield max if you're just holding long on a non-tax advantage account? That's a good question. Let's see. I don't know how to answer that. Why would you do the yield max if you're just holding long on a non-tax advantage account? I guess my only answer is income. Like I can pay the tax. I don't mind paying the tax. It's not going to put me underwater. It's not going to kill me. I don't have like retirement accounts or tax advantage accounts. Like I got out of my 401k. I was discussing this in the Discord. I don't know if you're in there or not. But I was discussing this in the Discord, and I basically, like, to me, a retirement account, yes, they're useful. They're absolutely useful. I think people should have retirement accounts. It's a very prudent thing to have. But I don't want to wait until I'm 59 and a half. All right. I get the whole, oh, you're going to be paying more in taxes and blah, 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 blah. I get all of that. But I don't want to wait to 59 and a half to have access to these funds, right? Tax advantage or not. I want to be able to build positions, invest my money and be able to collect some type of income now. Like a lot of people were like, oh, just invest in an index and then you can sell shares, and take 4% a year, blah, 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 blah. That's cool and all. But in the dividend investing space, I like that methodology. I like that train of thought where, you don't have to sell jack squat. You can just collect dividend income. So I hope that addresses that as best I can. But that is really kind of my train of thought. I'm not saying tax advantage retirement accounts are bad in any way, shape, or form. I think everybody should have them. I just don't want my money locked up that long. So I ended up selling out of my 401k, full disclosure. So I ended up getting out and getting rid of my 401k and just using that money to invest I put it all into an index and then, money also into the high yield space. So I hope that answers that. People that get caught holding the bag on gold is going to be there for a minute if we don't end up with a recession. That's probably true. I mean, having gold owning gold is always going to be a thing. I think that because you're going to have doom preppers, you're going to have people who just believe in gold, people who don't believe in the US dollar, people who don't believe in fiat currencies. People are always going to have gold. So I don't know. I think, because how crazy did Robert Kiyosaki or Jim Rickards sound? I don't know if you guys know who these people are, but Jim Rickards is basically a gold bull. He says that, the Federal Reserve is a complete scam and that the US dollar, once they took that off of the gold standard under Nixon, that was basically the start of the eventual bubble that is going to pop because we can print money now, right? We can print an obscene, unlimited amount of money. It's not backed by anything other than a promise. And once we took it off the gold standard, et cetera, and then, hundreds and hundreds of other conspiracies came out. But basically, they sounded crazy at the time. They sounded like a lunatic. You're like, why would I buy gold? It's slow to grow. It doesn't appreciate in value. I'd rather buy stocks. I'd rather buy crypto, et cetera, real estate. But some of them are looking really smart right now. I'm telling you, if you dig deep enough into Jim Rickards, he's starting to make a lot of sense because we're seeing this in real time. We're seeing this happen right now in real time. Some of the things that he was talking about. So O says you'll get less returns and you have to pay tax on the dividend compared to just buying something like QQQ. Absolutely 100%. You're right. You're 100% true on that. It's a truth. You have to pay tax on dividend income. There are some cover call ETFs that do ROC, right? A return of capital. So the tax burden is not as fast or as large as taking like qualified dividend income or ordinary income. So there is a method to the madness. But again, I'm not a super tax professional or anything like that. I'm just kind of like airing what my thoughts are on all of that. But yeah, I mean, if putting your money in a tax advantage account and then waiting until you're 59 and a half and then retiring and enjoying life, if that is, kind of your game plan, there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't want to follow that plan. That's just not something I want to follow. I know a lot of CFA charter holders will probably laugh at that and say that's completely stupid. And I'm inclined to agree because it kind of is. But again, me personally, I don't want to wait until 59 and a half. So I'd rather just use the money, invest in things that can produce some type of dividend income now, so I can use that income to grow the nest egg faster or use that to invest in other assets. I also invest in real estate, and some CFA holders would be like, real estate's stupid, just invest in an S&P 500 index. again, there's millionaires made in every asset class. There's millionaires made in every other way, shape, or form. People can just sell socks and they could become millionaires, right? If they own the factory, I don't know. But there's just 100 ways, right? It's just 100 ways to skin a cat. It's whatever makes sense for you as the investor. It makes sense for you in your own personal life. Again, I was using a 401k or a tax advantage account as more of a insurance policy because I was investing heavily into real estate. In case my real estate portfolio blew up in my face, I was like, well, I still have my 401k, right? And in case I ever, got into a really litigious lawsuit, they could take everything except for my 401k. But I'm at the point now where it's like, well, I'm past all of that. I don't have to worry about any of that happening, at least for now. So I'm okay. So I'm fine to not be investing in a tax advantage account. But I understand what you're saying, and you're 100% right. Definitely understanding. Says, 99% of the time you'll have more just buying the underlying asset instead of yield max. Yes, that is a fact. Again, the reason why I'm investing in cepi, out of all the other yield max funds, the primary reason is because I wanted to invest in a semiconductor space with income, some type of ETF that provides income. So that's where cepi came in. But if I find something better than cepi, something that is, that's an ETF that provides income for the semiconductor space, and I'll probably go with that, either a cover call ETF or maybe it's a 1.2x levered thing from Roundhill, then I would consider something like that. But, again, this is what this portfolio is. If I wanted appreciation, a strict appreciation play, I would just go with like a SOXQ or a SMH or even a SOXL. I would just go for those. But again, I don't want that. I want some type of income coming in with a small amount of appreciation. And at cepi, according to their website, this is according to yieldmax. So this is what I think is helping them turn a leaf is that instead of just a bunch of synthetics that they have in the ETF, they're actually holding some of the underliers. So it says it somewhere up here. Seeks current income capital appreciation via direct investments in a select portfolio of semiconductor companies. So it's not just a bunch of synthetic positions. So I hope that answers that. Shannon says, not saying gold is going away, but if the value falls, it might take a while to get back to even. Yeah, that's true. There was someone did, it was in one of the discords, but somebody compared gold and Bitcoin, and gold is actually performing better than Bitcoin. I guess since inception or something like that. They actually did a really good comparison. But yeah, if it has a huge pullback, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like if it does have a huge pullback, because I wouldn't invest in like a gold ETF. Personally, I wouldn't. I would invest in actual like physical gold, and I'm not talking about like gold, like bricks or anything, or those little chips, right? I would buy like jewelry, because jewelry can get appraised differently. Jewelry is more like you're paying for the craftsmanship. You're not just getting a brick of gold, right? Like there's more value to that. You could throw diamonds in there. You can increase the value. Like I know someone that bought a Cartier watch and then they had a bunch of diamonds installed in it, and it actually increased the value of that watch, of that Cartier watch. So jewelry is really interesting. But for gold, yeah, you're right. I don't think it's going to go away. If it's a huge pullback, imagine if you just had a bunch of physical gold. Like you're not going to notice it. You're not going to care. You just, okay, gold is cheap again. Let me buy more, right? So I don't know. Like the mindset of gold investors, they usually err on the side of like kooky, like they're, conspiracy theorists, the government's going to fall and, we're going to be trading and bartering with gold, to like another extreme where it's like people will just, hold gold because they like the asset, they like the shininess, and it's a good store of value. And, they use it as kind of a hedge against, recession, inflation, and all that other stuff. So yeah, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. G bro, hey, welcome, man. It's all good. We'll get you the replay as soon as this is over. Padre Del Verde, gold is up 1,000% over the last 20 years. There we go. is up 1,000%. I don't know. I'll have to try to find that chat or whatever, or that maybe that study or something. But yeah, there was like something, I remember seeing it. It was like, if you compare gold and Bitcoin, gold is actually outperforming Bitcoin. I don't know what the math was behind it or how they did this, but it was interesting. I think it was a blog post or article or something. I don't know. I'll have to find this. You hold gold because you're a dragon. That's all I'm talking about, man. The only gold I have, and I don't even own it, I mean, is like the jewelry stuff, right? Like, you know, the rings, the bracelets. Here in Thailand, they don't sell anything less than 24 karat, right? Thai gold is some of the most purest gold I've ever come across. Like, I've worked in the Middle East, and you'll get like 18 karat, you'll get like 19, 20, whatever. You get all these like other, you know, mixed metal gold, you know, bracelets and things like that. But when you are in a country where like, and you try to sell that gold, right? Because I had like I think like a 20 or 22 karat necklace or whatever, and we try to sell it here, and it's crazy. We went to 3 different gold shops, and they all said the exact same thing. You're better off selling that back in the Middle East. Like, wherever you bought it from, you're better off selling it there, because everyone here in Thailand, they're not going to give you a good price because it's not 24 karat. And that, I was blown away by that. I was like, holy shit. Like, every gold shop here in Thailand sells nothing less than 24 karat. And that's just crazy. I'm sure they sell probably, you know, the mixed metal ones, you know, like the 18 karat or whatever, I'm sure. But it's just wild that when you try to sell that stuff here, like, they tell you right up front, like, you might as well just take that back to wherever you bought it from. All right, guys, I got to get my day started. I still got a lot of packing and crap a lot of unpacking to do. Again, for those who just caught the stream, let me see if I can pull that up real quick, just to show you guys. So this is the new place that I moved into. $530 a month, totally worth it. This is where I smoke cigars right here. Like, man, it's so nice to have a big patio. I'm gonna get a grill going, gonna freaking grill some steaks. I cannot wait. But yeah, this is the place that I'm living now. Still got a lot of moving that I got to do and unpacking. Like, I had a big dresser behind me. I got to find out what I'm gonna do about this, because I don't like just a blank white wall behind me. I want, you know, some pictures or something. I want something behind me. But I gotta start thinking of what I'm gonna do there. But yeah, this is it, guys. I'm telling you, like, Thailand is a lifestyle. It's definitely worth it. If you guys can get out here, your money will go so far. It'll go so far. So if you guys can definitely get out here, try it at least once. Sauce Maker says, bet you have the money necklace. The rope chain. Yeah, dude, I got that little freaking that gold dollar sign right here. Yeah, I was talking trash with a couple other people earlier today, I guess Eastern Standard Time, and I was like, you know, beta, gamma, or theta. I don't know what those Greek symbols mean. I just know what the dollar sign means. Yeah, man, I'm gonna have that silk shirt on, freaking a couple unbuttons here, having my freaking chest hair out. Man. Yeah, that's, I'm telling you, man, it's nice over here. But I'm not going to lie, like, smoking when it's super humid, miserable as hell. Like, you got to have a fan. But if the fan is, like, blowing the cigar smoke away, it kind of ruins the mood. I don't know, man. It's like a first world problem at this point. Appreciate that, G, bro. I really do. Thank you. But all right, guys, this is going to do it for the stream. Actually, let me show you guys the M1 Finance portfolio, and then we'll close out the stream. All right, so I got 2 portfolios, so I always got to go through these portfolios. Again, there was no format to this. I think I just screwed up this password. We'll see. There's no format to this this stream today. Oh yeah, I knew I did. Hold up. Yeah, so there's no format to the stream today. I've just been busy, like, with life, but there was a lot of great news that came out, a lot of good news, and it sucks that I can't talk about it right now. So I'm gonna try to catch it on the next stream. I'll probably just, like, whiz through a bunch of stuff, because, man, like, there's a lot of good news too about NVIDIA. So I got to look at that conference or whatever that Jensen Huang was at, but also Alex Karp. They were at the same conference, Palantir NVIDIA, and they were just talking about the way ahead, kind of, you know, the what they're dealing with nowadays, et cetera. So I really want to get to that conference video, because I know there's going to be a lot of good, valuable nuggets in there. But yeah, so this is the portfolio. We are recovering really, really well. Really, really well. Okay. I was down like $70,000 across all portfolios. Now I'm only down about 33,000. This VGT, this is the Vanguard information tech ETF. I was down hard on this one. So I put $170,000. I should have lump summed it, or I should have dollar cost average, or put little bits here and there, but I just said screw it and I just dumped it in. And then the market started tanking. I swear to God, this was my fault, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for tanking the market. But literally, my timing could not have been worse. So I saw this go from 170 down to 124,000. That is enough to scare anybody, right? And then we had that fake news that came out that, oh, we're pausing 90 days. And then, you know, like, no, that's not true. And then, you know, then he's like, oh yeah, we're actually doing the whole 90-day thing. So then we popped. But yeah, like, I'm just happy to see this going back up. Of course, I don't think we're out of the woods yet. We still have a lot of uncertainty left. India is on the trade plate right now. So hopefully a deal is announced there. There's still negotiations happening between China and US. The narrative is getting better. So hopefully something materializes from there. And, you know, you still have South Korea, Japan, the EU, Canada, Mexico that are on the docket to have deals cut. So we'll see. G-Bro asks, are you going to live this weekend or beginning of next week? No, I'm gonna do live on Monday. So Monday Eastern Standard Time, which will be Tuesday my time. So I'll do another live then. I'm gonna try to be a little more consistent, guys. I apologize. I should be way more consistent. Sometimes there's just a slow news day and there is not anything to talk about, and I don't want to waste your guys' time, and you know, I don't want to bore the audience. So I try to look for some of the spiciest news that I can find that's going to be helpful, that can at least, you know, shed a light or at least a data point for people watching the stream. But you know, if there's nothing, there's nothing, and I don't want to waste your guys' time. But maybe what I'll do, again, I've been kind of toying with this. Maybe I'll just, you know, load up and then just have a conversation like we're doing now. Just have a conversation, right? Just talk, shoot the shit, whatever. Let's see. Path to Retirement says, wrong. Thai gold, it has less purity. Are you sure about that? I don't know, man. I think I think we're gonna have to. I'm gonna record myself going into a gold shop, and then we'll go from there. But I'm pretty sure it's 24 karat. Like, it's, you can't find anything less than 24 karat out here. Tell you what, you come over here, I'll get the Singas ready, the Changs ready, or maybe the Sangsoms, which is all, you know, alcohol, rum, and beers. I'll get those ready, and then we'll walk into the gold shop. O says, market started pumping as soon as Trump said it was Biden's market. Man, well, so he said that, and then there was another piece of news that came out. I freaking wish I saved it or had it or remembered it, but there was something else that came out that same day. And I think it had to do with, like the trade agreement or something. But India is getting spicy right now because they're entering a war with Pakistan. I got to catch up on that news. Man, like, my whole day is nothing but news stuff. But yeah, India right now is beefing with Pakistan. Literally, they're shelling the shit out of each other. They're fighting. They're you know, lobbing missiles at each other. It's getting spicy over there. Really, really, really spicy. So Apple moving over there right now at this time, kind of interesting. I want to see what's going to happen, because if the U.S. migrates a lot of manufacturing out of China and into India, or the trade relations become better with India, I think China is really going to feel that pinch. They're going to be really upset by that, because a lot, like I said, you know, as Americans, we are consumptuous, right? We just consume a lot of goods. Maybe the stuff is no longer going to say made in China. It's going to say made in India, right? Who knows? I don't know, but it's interesting to watch this stuff. USA gold is 99%, says the path to retirement. So I'm guessing you say 96% is the gold for ties. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna check. I got to do some of my own research. But I know when I walk into those gold stores, they all said you might as well take that Middle Eastern gold, go back to the Middle East and sell it. I was like, damn. O says watch Bitcoin over the weekend to see if the S&P rally will continue into Monday. Yeah, Sailor's probably gonna buy more Bitcoin. He's probably gonna buy more Bitcoin. So maybe that's when it's gonna tank. But yeah, he's been on a buying spree. Michael Saylor, strategy CEO. Sauce Maker says, buy Misty, work for the clown. Just talk about Misty and make what if pay statement. Oh, dude, come on. Don't do me like that, bro. Come on. Don't do me like that. Nah, I'm not trying to waste your guys' time. I'm not trying. Hell nah. I'm not doing no PowerPoint presentations. I'm not doing any of that stuff. All right. I have a little more. Don't get me wrong. I like writing in like a journal and like actually like mapping stuff out. I like that stuff. I like doing that stuff, but that's my personal stuff, right? Like that's my own plans. Like, I don't have my journal with me, but I had this whole idea, and I accidentally found out about the buy, borrow, die strategy. And that was how I basically took an S block against my portfolio and invested in real estate, right? But I had all that mapped out on a piece of paper, and then I built it out more fancier using Canva. But yeah, I wouldn't kill you guys with PowerPoints. What if I buy one share and all this other fake calculations? I'm not gonna bore you guys with that. Hell no. G-Bro says, huge, I love the Discord chat. I am always quiet because I'm such an amateur. Getting many tips, though, for real. I'm glad, man. See, that's what the Discord is. It's not just a bunch of, trash talk, and, we drop gems in there. And, of course, you can always message me, whatever, if you have a question, or post it in the Discord. I'm sure you'll have a bunch of people, offer their actual, valuable insights. Because we have a lot of good investors. Man, we do. We really do. We have some young, like Alex. We have some old, like Sauce Maker and myself. I'm just older man, all right? I've never revealed my age, but I think I'm somewhere in the 60s. You guys got to just eat a lot of carrots and drink coffee. That's what keeps you looking young. But yeah, we have such a breadth of information in that community. A path to retirement, he does nothing but cover calls. He keeps trying to tempt me to be a cover call addict like himself, but I refuse. Instead, I'd rather just give my money to a fund manager and get charged an obscene amount of money for them to lose my money. So, that's what I would do, but maybe that's not what you would do. Maybe you would learn how to do your own cover calls, right? So that's what I want the Discord to turn into, is, just people like newcomers. They can get in there. They can ask questions, without fear of being laughed at. Because man, some of these other communities that I've seen, they're freaking vile. You ask an honest question and you just get absolutely shitted on, and it's so discerning to see stuff like that. I don't like seeing stuff like that, because I mean, shit. When I started investing, I didn't even know what an index was. Right? I had no idea. I put $5,000 into Fidelity, and I thought I was an investor. Right? Look, guys, I'm investing. And then my good friend, he was like, dude, so what are you investing in? I'm like, I don't know. I just put the money in there. It says SPAX, SPAXX. He laughed so hard. He was like, bro, you're in a money market account. And I was like, so how do people get rich? Am I investing? And he broke it down for me, and he was like, no, you got to look at it this way. You got to look at it that way. And then of course it snowballed later, and here I am today. But again, if a friend didn't at least help me out at that point, I would not have started, right? I would have kept my money in a money market account. So again, if you have questions, absolutely ask the questions in the Discord, man. We're always happy to help. But all right, guys, that'll do it for me. All right, it's the top of the hour. I got to get going. I know we were supposed to do a portfolio deep dive. Didn't really get there, but REITs, doing very well. We're getting up there. All right. Real estate is recovering, and I hope they continue to recover, because man, we've been in a freaking bear market for almost 3 years now. So enough is enough. All right. That 10-year treasury needs to come down. Interest rates need to come down, hopefully next week. All right. Keep your eyes peeled for that. The whole Jerome Powell speech is coming up. We'll cover that here on the stream. But I hope I hope those interest rates come down so REITs can freaking pop. But you guys have a great rest of your evening wherever you're at in the world. Of course, you guys know I appreciate you joining the stream, coming on, shooting the shit with me. And I'll see you guys in the next stream, or I'll see you in the Discord community. All right, guys? You all take care. Have a wonderful night.